Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video. She actually didn't. I genuinely thought that Lizzo would not respond, but I'm really glad she did because I really wanted to make this video because her response is dog shit. Now, super quick, like 10-second recap for anyone who doesn't realize what's going on. Again, Lizzo is being accused of all sorts of shit. She's being accused of sexual assault, not paying her dancers, mistreatment of her dancers, and all sorts of other discrimination. And three of those biggest things being that she made her dancers eat bananas out of hookers' pussies, fat shamed one of her dancers, and in a general sense discrimination. Now, a couple days ago I made a video talking about this and I was holding back so much and I was waiting for something to happen. I was waiting for Lizzo to respond at least, or just some sort of proof to come out, and she finally released a statement yesterday on Instagram. And dude, that shit sucks. It's so bad. It's such a vague and dodgy response. I'm gonna go and start reading it. I just want to start shit talking already. She starts it with saying, "These last few days have been gut-wrenchingly difficult and overwhelmingly disappointing. My work ethic, morals, and respectfulness have been questioned. My character has been criticized. Usually I choose not to respond to false allegations, but these are as unbelievable as they sound and too outrageous to not be addressed. These sensationalized stories are coming from former employees who have already publicly admitted that they were told their behavior on a tour was inappropriate and unprofessional." This is only the first page and there's already like so much shit wrong with this. Starting with the fact that Lizzo is saying that she's only addressing this, quote, false allegation because it's as unbelievable as it sounds and too outrageous. Now, first off, the most unbelievable thing was her forcing people to eat bananas out of hookers' pussies. And even that, like I said in my last video, had corroborating evidence where she was talking about years ago how she wanted to have some sort of weird party where she eats a banana out of a hooker's pussy. So the thing is, the most uncanny and weird allegation that she has against her already has proof behind it. And regardless of that, I think it's so weird that she's saying that she's only addressing it because it's as unbelievable as it sounds. Does that mean like you're not gonna address other allegations that actually do sound believable? Like, I don't know what she's getting at here, and it's just so confusing. It doesn't make any fucking sense. And this next part is also just as weird because it's so unspecific. Lizzo says that her employees publicly admitted that they were told their behavior on tour was inappropriate and unprofessional. Let's make a scenario just to put this into perspective. Let's say, I don't know, I get accused as being Lizzo's favorite person, a wife beater. I release a public statement, I say, I was treated unfairly and somebody called me a wife beater. And the person who called me that responds and says, well, you publicly admitted that I called you a wife beater. It's like, do you see how like silly that shit sounds? It doesn't make any sense. Like, Lizzo's response has so many holes in it already. Yes, they publicly admitted that they were told their behavior was inappropriate. Does that mean that was true? Does it mean they were being unprofessional or inappropriate? No. I think the point the dancers were trying to make was that they were being discriminated against. Anyway, she kind of continues this on the second page, which again, obviously is still very unspecific. She continues with, as an artist, I've always been very passionate about what I do. I take my music and my performances seriously because at the end of the day, I only want to put out the best art that represents me and my fans. With passion comes hard work and high standards. Sometimes I have to make hard decisions, but it's never my intention to make anyone feel uncomfortable or like they aren't valued as an important part of the team. You heard it here, guys, alright? Lizzo has to make hard decisions. Whatever those decisions might be, we don't know, but they're hard. I'm sure she's talking about firing her dancers, but for some reason, Lizzo just can't directly say this shit. She like drones on about how she loves doing all this other shit, like how she loves being an artist, but can't like just directly say, yes, I fucking fired them for this and this reason. Like, when you're explaining allegations about sexual abuse and discrimination, nobody gives a fuck about your passion for music. They want to know an explanation. Like, that's the whole point of it. And this response isn't either. It's not an explanation at all. Like, there's just so much beating around the bush. Her response may have well has been, guys, come on. I like knitting and petting my cat and finding different ways to tie my shoes. I'm not a bad person, guys. I just do what has to be done. Anyways, Lizzo, I'm losing brain cells, holy shit. Give me a second, I can't talk. Lizzo continues and says, I'm not here to be looked at as a victim, but I also know that I'm not the villain that people in the media have portrayed me to be the last few days. I'm very open with my what the fuck does this even mean? I'm very open to my sexuality and expressing myself, but I cannot accept or allow people to use that openness to make me out to be something I am not. This explains absolutely nothing. So, Lizzo, what do you have to say about making your dancers eat bananas out of hookers' vaginas? Well, I like doing handstand sex and penis in my butt. What? She's being accused of sexually assaulting people, and her response is just saying like that she's open with her sexuality and expressing herself. That doesn't prove anything. What does that mean? Like, I'm trying so hard to think of this from Lizzo's perspective of being accused of sexual assault, or I guess like to be more specific, forcing people to do something sexual that they really didn't want to do. And I could never imagine myself responding with, I'm open with my sexuality and expressing myself. Now, I went to the comments because I genuinely wanted to see what people are actually like making this out to be, and they're saying that Lizzo was trying to say that because she's open with her sexuality, she doesn't want people using that to be weaponized against her and make her out to be a sexual predator, which still really doesn't make any sense because the allegations are her forcing people to do things sexually that they didn't want to do, and not even like directly to her. It just doesn't correlate with the idea of her being open sexually. I just think this, of all things, is a really weird way to address sexual harassment. It's just so unspecific and such a strange response. It does not add up. Now, also though, to be fair, she is in a lawsuit, and likely her lawyers are telling her what to and not to say. And I guess in her best case, not addressing these things like very directly is something her lawyers advise her to do. But regardless, the response still just does not make any sense. And this is in the scenario that her lawyers are actually telling her to do this, which we don't even know if they are. Anyways, she continues and says that there's nothing I take more seriously than the respect we deserve as women in the world. I know what it feels like to be body shamed on a daily basis and would absolutely never criticize or terminate an employee because of their weight. Now, this kind of contradicts what I said about the lawyers telling her what to say, because this is the only thing that she actually directly addressed. Now, also, to be fair, this is probably the most predictable response you could have got out of this. Like Lizzo, someone who is notably large, fat shaming somebody obviously doesn't seem right, so like the first thing you would think Lizzo would say is, no, I'm fucking huge, why would I do that? Anyways, the last part of her post just says that she's sad about it and she thanks people for supporting her. Honestly, I just think Lizzo's full of shit. She calls these things false allegations but really addresses absolutely nothing. The only thing she really actually talked about, and only went into very minor detail, was the whole deal with the fat shaming. Everything else just felt glanced over or insinuated, but it's so fucking hard to tell, especially with the sexual harassment claims. Now, from what I'm seeing, the comments seem to agree, and I would say have very clearly made up their mind. I don't know, I'm still gonna have to stick with what I said in my last video, that there really is no proof of anything, but Lizzo's response really does seem incredibly sketchy, and I think a lot of people can agree with that. I don't know, whatever y'all think, just let me know in the comments, but regardless of that, if you guys enjoyed, thank you for watching, and come back for the next.